Alright guys, it's time to suffer again with a new standing quest. And this one's pretty damn hard, so you better pay attention to all the attacks, because they're a pain in the ass. But for now, we'll jump into the requirements for this fight. First, you're going to need 3950 to even enter the instance for this. I also recommend you have about 150% plus potency for this fight, just so you have a little bit of a leeway, just in case if you make any mistakes during this battle. I also recommend having a Slayer or Fighter as your subclass. Now, you also want to have a Ranger in your party, and be able to also output between everyone 4500 for 300 plus DPS. Now, again, these requirements were listed based on my own initial testing with my slot bouncer class, so results can vary. Now, before I dive into this fight, I just wanted to warn you that this fight is a lot more sped up than you think it is with each of the Dark Falz attacks. You're going to be doing a lot of dodging and a lot of watching, so just be wary of everything. I'll explain each attack. Since they don't have names, I'm going to just have to make up names for them and explain them in detail, alright? Now let's get in there. Double Slash. Dark Falz will attempt to attack you with one claw followed by another claw. You can counter step dodge or counter weapon action these attacks, in which the window for outputting damage lasts 1 second before the claw disappears. Spin Claw. You will likely see this attack happen as a follow-up to other attacks randomly. You'll need to step dodge this or weapon action in order to avoid it. Multi-Projectile Slam. Dark Falz will shoot massive photon spikes that cover most of your surroundings. There are gaps between each one in which you can avoid the attack. And if not, make sure to weapon action or step dodge. There will be a follow-up with Dark Falz slamming his pillars. I guess they're called pillars. So make sure to time another weapon action or step dodge counter, and everyone focus on one singular pillar for the extra damage from Ranger's Blight. You will also notice that Photon Swords will strike you as you're attempting to attack his pillar. There will also be a follow-up attack after the Photon Swords, and it could be either an AoE attack that comes straight from the main body of Dark Falz, or it could be another set of Photon Swords. It's random, so just be wary of both, or you can still weapon action or dodge counter these attacks. Anti-Keroppi Beam. For this attack, you just want to focus on one pillar with the Blight, and go to the base of the pillar, and stay either behind it or where I am in this video, and just keep attacking it. The beams it shoots are unavoidable. You cannot weapon action or step dodge them. They will kill you. Anti-Keroppi Vacuum Train. This is more or less the same exact move in the original Dark Falz fight. The only thing is you cannot weapon action or step dodge it for extra damage. I would recommend finding a way to attack it while still avoiding being hit by the train. Just make sure you're wary of the two Photon Swords that will follow up after the trains stop in motion. Shaking Pillar Slam. So this will happen pretty fast. The first strike will be those Photon Spikes again, similar to the multi-projectile attack, followed by a slam of the pillars, in which you are free to attack for a good amount of time. So if you're outside of the range of this, you should look out for the rising floor, and try to weapon action through it so you can get to the pillar and start attacking it. You will be striked by at least 2 sets of the Photon Swords, as you see in the video. Chest Gero. Now, Aegis is going to try to trap you between 2 walls, which you can still weapon action through, and then go for a beam from his chest, similar to his previous attack in the old fight. I would just recommend step dodging or weapon action and then attacking his chest for extra damage. You will be struck by at least 1 Photon Sword as you're attacking his chest. DPS Check Orb. So this one gives you kind of a little bit of a break. Dark Falz will fly off and create an orb you'll have to destroy. It's your DPS check. And the floor will start rising in different formations. Just avoid the flashing spots on the floor before they rise up and hit you. If you're stuck in them, you can still weapon action through those floors before they can do damage to you. Just destroy the orb and you'll get a new set of rest assigns and reverse assigns in case you are low on those. You will not be attacked by any Photon Swords or anything, you just have to destroy the orb, so this will be pretty brain dead. And those of you using the Bouncer subclass, when you destroy this orb, this is where you get your damage. Multi-Projectile Claw. So if you remember correctly, I showed you a similar variation where you're being attacked by the spiked photon blades. These are going to be a little bit faster than usual, and then Dark Falz is going to try to attack you with either 2 claws at the same time, or try to slam you with the pillars together. Let's not forget, after every variation, you will be attacked by a set of photon blades, so be careful. Spinning Gero. So just like the original laser phase in the previous fight, Dark Falz will sit there with his chest open for you to attack, and lasers will be spinning around him. There'll be 2 sets of lasers that will hit you from the floor, and 1 laser that will hit you if you're in the air. You can try to weapon action these or step dodge these to get some damage. Just be wary of where the lasers are and your positioning. Now, the other variation of this is where he's in his second phase, where he's all red, and he'll start moving around opposite of the lasers, which is a pain, but you'll get through it. Just focus on his core and step dodge or weapon action those lasers. Finally, we're getting to the point where we're going to break Dark Falz. All you have to do is dish out your Photon Blast, just dish out all your damage. So you can get him to half health and he can enter his second phase, which we can dive into right now. Phase 2. This is where you start spawning platforms, which again, you can start attacking the projectiles on each platform so you can strike against Dark Falz. Now, I would recommend casting Blight on Dark Falz directly first with your Ranger. Then you can proceed to destroy any of these little projectiles and start throwing at them. Just be mindful of those floating pillars that roam around above you. You can still weapon action them. Just make sure you get all the projectiles before they disappear, because there is a time limit and you want to get as much damage from this as possible. Once this part of the phase is done, Dark Falz will return to his normal sequence of attacks, so nothing really much changes other than his color. Vibe check! And as you continue to fight him as normal, eventually when you get Dark Falz to about this much health, he'll start a new attack actually, and it looks extremely cool. He'll start to fly over the map, across out of the ring, and he'll start getting ready to throw his pillars at you constantly. You're going to want to step dodge and or weapon action them so you do not get hit by these. They will one-shot you. Once Dark Falz has enough of throwing stuff at you, he'll finally end it with a claw version of it. You can easily just weapon action it and step dodge it, just like the others. And then you'll proceed to continue the fight as normal. Massive orbs. Now that we got through all that fun, we're finally at the orb phase. You most likely will enter this phase at about 5% of Dark Falz health. If you manage to be able to kill Dark Falz in one of his other attacks before this phase happens, then props to you, you finished it. But if you do enter this phase, just make sure you destroy all the orbs so you have enough room to survive. If you can destroy those orbs really early, it will save you some time. But if not, and you have about maybe a minute left in this phase, I would suggest holding onto your Photon Blast for Dark Falz once he's at a sleeping state. And I think that about sums up the whole guide. I thank you for watching all the way to the end. It's been fun. I hope this was very helpful to you. You guys have a wonderful time. I'm out.